December the 17th, 2014 it is. Welcome to video 105, titled as Demand for Political Asylum, and you have heard that correctly. I attempt to resubmit my applications for political asylum. Before I go on with it, I'd like to thank to my supporters, people who have encouraged me to pursue my cause. The important things about this video that you should know about is that I will record this video under what are psychotropic medicines. I'm taking medicines. Not that I would want that to, but basically forcefully I have to take medications, like it or not, and I'm about to explain this to you, in order to avoid what would be otherwise renewed incarceration behind the walls of mental institution. Yeah, I think I said that properly. Yes, if I would not take these pills, psychotropic medications, mind control drugs, they really are mind control. I will talk to you about this. I would just place myself at risk of being hospitalized again. And this is also the opportunity for me to clarify for my friends who are asking me, how am I doing, what am I doing, this and that, that this psychotropic drugs, medications, mind control medications really are mind control, because recording this video is not going to be easy at all. It's not easy for me to come up and record this video. Drugs are extremely powerful. Not as powerful as the first time when I was hospitalized in 2012, but still very, very powerful. If I refresh you what was going on in 2012, I used to take 9 pills of Leponex daily, what would leave me with my jaw locked. I could not even talk. I had saliva running out of my mouth. Totally handicapped. This time it's less, in lesser quantities still, but still everything is difficult. It's difficult to stand up in the morning and then put up with a day, go for a walk or whatever. Everything is difficult, my friends. It's very difficult to record this video. This pretty much is how I'm doing right now. And a little bit more about how I'm doing. I'm not doing well at all, because in 2014 I was hospitalized again for additional 6 to 7 months. The way the whole procedure was performed against me was basically for no hospitalized for no reason whatsoever. Would just have in the evening at night time at 7-8 o'clock, first 8 responders knock on the door here and behave like, again, totally violent. They would knock on the door, they would pound on the door and open the door, and basically I was told, let's go, we go to Ljubljana, we have to go now, we have to go again. Of course, behind the walls of mental institution. So being hospitalized for no reason whatsoever, with brutality again, as I have just stated, I have suffered great consequences. I have suffered, I react to everything with recoil, with a shock, with a fear. If I hear the telephone ringing or cars approaching, terrible repercussions that are going to last, in my opinion, now for years, because I am totally terrified. I am totally scared. about what can happen and when can happen to me. Um, I have had literally police after I was already released from this mental hospital. Literally have a police coming on several occasions right here under the window with the police car, with the vans, and have them simply turn around and exit the property again and stuff like that. It's more than enough. Uh, I have already mentioned that I had stack like this of papers that were that I have received from medical staff here in Novo Mesto and also in Ljubljana about how I am sick, and stuff like that, that I need help and all that great stuff that would totally psychologically destroy individual. They are totally engaging in psychological warfare against me. So yes, my friends, I am not doing very well, and I plan on not dealing with these criminals anymore. Like they believe that I guess that I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. I was told in the hospital that I don't have the right to basically to uh, fighting for the rights of pro white rights for the white people, talking about people in South Africa, uh, threatened during the visitation here in uh, Novo Mesto, suggested that I should just quit the internet, that I should not be using the internet, basically that I don't have the right to use the internet, all recorded. And as I stated, so basically I have no rights of any kind, all for nothing. They just make up their mind and they come and they just terrify, horrify, threaten. They do whatever they want to do. Even despite my parents protesting against these criminals now, they just do. They perform whatever they want to perform. You will be able to hear my mom suggesting these criminals who have locked me for almost a year and a half, that I am non-violent, that I never have uh, posed any threat to anybody, that I never have touched anybody. It's just horrific. It's just horrific. It's constant fear, terror, and I have to put up with that. More about how I'm doing. Every 14 days, I get visitations from Ljubljana. This is a medical staff that comes to control me. I'm continually asked, and my parents are questioned as well, what the situation is with me. Um, Basically, I'm supervised by decision of the court, and every 3 months, it was at least on 3 months, I had to report myself to the local doctor here in Novo Mesto as well for the same reason. How am I doing? What am I doing? This and that. What I'm doing, and they want to know absolutely everything. At the same time, of course, are discouraging me from using the internet, from being connected to the world, everything, all the stuff I have already mentioned. And all this, despite my not having anything ever on my criminal record. All this for no reason whatsoever. You're about to hear right now a recording that was I I recorded it. I conducted this recording to protect my rights and to prove the criminality itself in this case against me, in this psychiatric case against me. You're about to hear a recording during which have taken place during Andrea, that's nurse, bachelor degree nurse that comes to visit me on every 14 days. And I was able to record this to prove you that this case is nothing else but about the crime, and crime. We are dealing with the criminally insane people, and yeah, they do whatever they want to do. In this recording, you will be able to hear in Slovenian language, but I will have that translated for you. That my mother, it was suggested to my mom that she actually agreed with the latest hospitalization, which took place in January 2014. With this latest hospitalization, that she was well acquainted with it, and that she agreed to that hospitalization, when in fact my mom right now, you're going to hear her, she's protesting against these allegations, claiming that she did not know anything about whatever Dr. Prokšelj was. Dr. Prokšelj was the one who, psychiatrist Prokšelj, was the one who have placed me behind the walls of mental institution in 2014. This Prokšelj, she just went ahead and claimed that it was my mom who gave her the permission to hospitalize me, when in fact, as I stated, it's a lie. It's a lie, and that's what pretty much is all about. Their case against me is pretty much all about lies. They lie and they write. They lie and they write whatever the hell they want to write. This was the case for 2014, and then I'm going to film you another audio that involved case against me in 2012, when in fact these criminals also didn't have any grounds to throw me behind the walls of mental institution. But that's pretty much how it is done. You know, they claim that you are paranoid schizophrenic, while suggesting you to just quit your political activities. You know, that's pretty much how it's done. You're a paranoid schizophrenic, for one thing, or the reason why we have to hospitalize you, but at the same time, they're insisting on your quitting your political activities, which of course I never will. Let's go to recording now for 2014, where Andrea, the nurse that is paying me visitation on every 14 days, was told by my mom that she was not acquainted with their placing me behind the walls of mental institution, and even less that she agreed to that, because my mom claims there was no reason for placing me behind the walls of mental institution in 2014. Yes, indeed.
Res je bilo drugače, ker tam mi je pokazal tisto, ki je dala podprogentno v bolnico, je celo napisala, da se je mama strinjala s tem.
Mama se ni strinjala.
Niti povedala nam ni, da nisem to naredila. Nikar pa, da bi se strinjala.
Spomnimo potreben, za tisto, kar se zgodilo.
Mislim, meni je to žal, da je napisala, da se je mama strinjala. Če bi
Okay, so that was the recording for year 2014, and now I'm about to present you with a recording which relates to my hospitalization in 2012. You're about to hear Dr. Bošnjak, and foremost my mom, who is explaining him, in fact, that there was also no reason for hospitalization in 2012. My mom is explaining him that I am a non-violent person, that I have not touched anyone physically, but that there was some verbal abuse that went on from both sides. So again, just so people are not going to say we didn't know, you know, somebody that would come up later on and say, oh, we didn't know, you know, that this was the case. We didn't know. They know very well, because they, as explained here under my case, it's all been recorded.
Nobenih kaznivih dejanj nisem povzročil jaz. Ja. A mama lahko pove, mami, da si naredil kakšno kaznivo dejanje?
Ne, da bi bližnji odgovornosti na cesti, ampak kakšni fizični doma.
Preden sem šel v bolnico v letu 2012.
Da bi karkoli, da bi na koga roko položil, karkoli tega nikoli ne bilo.
Tu v življenju niso še.
Verbalni od ene in druge. Nikoli pa ni bil nasilen, da bi koga udaril ali pa do zdaj še ne.
A little question for the world. Have you ever heard that someone would be locked away behind the walls of a mental institution for the duration of 18 months, over 18 months, and in addition to that, surveillanced with visitations on every 14 days? That adds up now to 3 years. Have you ever heard anything like this yet? Have you ever heard any case like this ever? I mean, yeah, this video is a lot about violence and brutality, and as I'm about to continue, you will be able to hear some and see and hear some other atrocities against me that have taken place. Now let's go a little bit deeper into this matter, because things really couldn't be worse than what things are. I don't have the right to legal free aid. I don't have the right to basically to attorney. I don't have the right to court. All the courts they have performed were courts that were performed behind closed doors. When the court have actually benefited me, stating that I have totally legitimate grounds for complaining against these criminals, they have hospitalized me. As I got my decision from the court, from one of the courts, which did benefit me, uh, 4 days before the trial, that this trial would continue upon my submitting the complaint against these criminals, what they're doing to me. What they would do is they would simply go and just lock me away again. You know, in January 2014, they just locked me away for another 6-7 months. So, not having the right to the court, I don't have sufficient financial means for the court, because I receive exactly $0 or euros or whatever per month. I am broke. I am jobless since year 2006, during which I have spent all my savings, my life savings, $45,000. On top of that, they have totally banned me from everything. I mean, it's my complaining that I don't have the right to an attorney. My complaining that I don't have the right to the court. My complaining that I don't have the right to free legal aid did not improve any situation at all. Talking about courts, attorneys, lawyers, wow, free legal aid. What am I talking about at all? I mean, folks, I don't even have the right to second opinion from third party or independent psychologist, which is mandatory by the law. Not even this. Not even the right to second opinion. In 2012, I was psychologically tested thoroughly. It took hours to test me, have passed Rorschach tests and other tests, and have proven to these criminals that my IQ is way above the average and that I'm psychologically very stable person. But, well, in my situation, concerning this human rights, it's so that I don't even have the right to second opinion. And that is, I think, bad as it gets. Going very quickly through their procedures against me would be first, demand for free legal aid, which I have requested on November 29, 2013. Here's the date. And this definitely is for free legal aid. Which was declined. The local communist here in Novo Mesto, on the court, local court in Novo Mesto, whose name is Udoch, room 113, have declined me any aid, any help. Did not left me with any other choice but to complain to what was afterwards Ministry for Justice, and to an individual representing Ministry for Justice whose name is Andrzej Kromer. This individual was informed in detail with all the scanned documents, with everything, on December 18, 2013. Quickly to show you the document, basically in an email, pretty much December 18, 2013, and it was for Andrzej Kromer. It's his name right there. You can have the email and so on. 14 documents. Of course, I did not stop there. I continued to pursue my cause by contacting other people. But before I did that, Andrzej Kromer have told me that the only one who could help me out with my situation, with free legal aid situation, the only one and only, is local court here in Novo Mesto, and that I should turn to for further attention to Sector for Judicial System Control or Supervision, which I did. I have contacted Mia Cankar, who happened to reveal herself as a head or lead from Andrzej Kromer. Wow. You see, he also works for Sector for Judicial System Control or Supervision, even that he have suggested me to contact them. This is the head games they play, and this is how it was. Mia Cankar. Second one that I contacted was Stare Maya. The same thing, always the same result. You have to contact local court here in Novo Mesto. There's nothing we can do for you. And the last one that I contacted was also the head, the lead, the one and only head for Judicial System Control or Supervision, and whose name is Vojka Čeligoy Kirn. Her boss afterwards was Senko Pličanić. Senko Pličanić is the Minister for Judiciary System in Slovenia. He was minister, but I understand that I believe that 2 months ago that someone else replaced him. And that was pretty much it. I always got the same answer. The court here in Novo Mesto, and don't bother us, pretty much was the name of the game. Okay, and since this is about demand for political asylum, and also violent world of psychology against a targeted individual, I'm about to give you a few more clues. Okay, so we're not going to have any doubts about whether I need that political asylum or not. We'll give you a little refreshment of what I already have stated to you on my previous videos. And then we're not going to have any doubts about paranoid schizophrenia diagnosis, with which I was and am labeled by these criminals in fields of psychiatry and psychology. Okay, so I own that to you and to myself to clarify. Okay, now let's go. Was there any chance? Was there any chance, possibility that I could suffer from paranoid schizophrenia? Do you have any doubt that such thing could possibly exist in my case? No, I do not have any doubt that it is for violent world of psychiatry and psychology against targeted individual, because of facts that I'm about to stress to you again, and I will include also some extra facts that, as a matter of fact, how it was all done. Okay, so everything I have stated to you in my previous videos, I will now even include some extra things, extra stuff in it, so you will completely understand about what was going on. After all, there is a huge difference between an individual who is suffering from paranoid schizophrenia and an individual who was, let's say, like in my case, I was anywhere from conditioned with lobotomy, bitten up, brainwashed with MK Ultra, under MK Ultra procedures, and all the way to what was on-job torture. What should be jobs were nothing else than torture points that led to, I'm going to say, extensive forced unemployment. To remind you, unemployment that now lasts already 9 years. Highlights or proofs that I don't suffer from paranoid schizophrenia include abduction that took place in 1998 in Miami, when and where I was transferred to a local hospital. I believe that local hospital to be either Jackson Memorial Hospital or Veteran Affairs Hospital in Miami downtown, where I was violently conditioned per multiculturalism, minorities if you like, by suggesting me that I would have to get involved with minorities, or if in Slovenia with Serbs, or they would simply lobotomize me on the spot. Okay, something that I did not dare to decline, but it's right there for you to understand that such an emotion, such a powerful emotion that I have experienced, that the threat itself, that I could be lobotomized right there on the spot, is something that you cannot fabricate in your head, something you cannot just come up with, and lie to people, whatever. Second fact about 1998 abduction was that in Slovenia I was beaten up, threatened and beaten up with the same gestures. And when you're bitten up, when somebody hit you and stuff, when you cannot hit back, when it's pain and injustice against you, it's something you can definitely not fabricate or mistaken with schizophrenia. Going further, in 1998, I was suggested that deep brain stimulation surgery have taken place, but it was inserted in my head a GPS device which would be and will be used to track me wherever I would go. To fortify that suggestia, in Latin I think it is suggestia. They supported one by throwing me in a wheelchair, driving me around under MK Ultra. I was all medicated, and suggest me how from different spaces, from buildings, they could measure the signal, where they could trace me and where they could not trace me. They have taken me for a walk in the forest here and suggested me how they could how they can trace the signal, how the signal can trace me. When once back in Miami, I was suggested, I was literally shown jackets with a hoodie that was plated with aluminum foil. It is something that supposedly, something that should appeal me personally because of what they have done to me. It's something you just don't fabricate. It's something you just don't come up with a story like this. This is not have nothing to do with the schizophrenia, because this was not even done under MK Ultra, but was done straight in my face. Okay, at One Stop Miami Downtown Workforce Agency, 1998. This craziness with a GPS device suggested me how GPS device was inserted in my head, implanted in my head, went as far as stalking me all the way in 2010, when in Norway, when individual would approach me when I was forced to be in the hostel. Despite my having the money, nobody would rent me the room. And it was not like this only in Norway, but it was also in Sweden, in Germany, in Belgium, in Canada, and so on. But yeah, in Norway, this individual would approach me and suggest me how they still have to take the device, the tracking device, from my head. So just to give you the feeling, the little bit of reality, how far these people have gone. I mean, you don't believe that kinds of stuff was inserted in your head, but on the other hand, this stalking lasted for 12 years, since 1998 to 2010. And individual clearly was suggesting how there was a GPS inserted in my head and have to be pulled out because that GPS device was also, it could also be detonated. I mean, you are dealing with a crazy, that I don't say something, people, if you want to call this people. Abductions, beatings, unemployment, torture on job, torture, you name it, you name it. In 1998, the tour here in Slovenia ended when the 3.5-month long tour, abduction, extraordinary rendition, abduction with MK Ultras, ended by my literally splitting plate on the table that was in front of me, because they have threatened me that I would not go back to the United States, but would instead stay here in Slovenia. This is how it all ended, with my having cardiac arrest on operation table here in Novo Mesto's hospital with this cretin here, this communist scumbag here, Dr. Kotar. This is how it ended. This is how I was afterwards sent back to the United States. And my not failing to forget to mention about the hospital in Ljubljana where I was recently placed in, also in the year 2012. Because, why? Because nobody knows about MK Ultras more than these criminals do. They are a psychiatric hospital. Nobody has drugs the way they do. And a little more fact about this psychiatric hospital in Ljubljana Polje. This hospital is university's hospital. This is the hospital that cooperates with other universities across the Europe and also world, United States. So no, it was not imagination. When I was in the hospital, I had a guy literally telling me they were taking me on a toilet in a special room because I would do poop in my pants deliberately sometimes, because I didn't want to be there. And so they would take me to a special room where they would shower me. On another occasion, I had individuals standing in front of me and telling me, read this, read the sheets on the bed, what it says. It says hospital, mental hospital Ljubljana, or University Hospital Ljubljana. It was literally done deliberately so I could remember and come up, later on in complaint with the things against them, because at the same time they were telling me, what are we going to say if you will say that is schizophrenia, right? That you're only imagining this. So I would have fear. I would not have a guts to come up forward and claim what I have just stated right now, and so on. I had another time they had me dehydrated on one of the baths. I was shackled on the bath and I was dehydrated. I don't know for how many hours. I did not receive any drink, and whatever medications they were using on me, they really were making me thirsty. If it was for medications definitely was for medications, but if it was not, maybe for longitude, for extensive time that I was tortured like this, man, it was more than one proof, way too many proofs to talk about. Another time they have done something to me in 2006 or end of 2005. They have done something to me on my spine cord. I don't know what they have done, but ever since they have threatened, they have done I don't know what. I had problem with the cord, with the spine cord, and so on. Whether they have injected one with something or they have done, I don't know what was done under MK Ultras. There were 4 abductions done on me that were longer than 2 weeks. So what these people have done, I do not know. But I do know about the stuff I have just talked to you about. Impossible. These are points that are impossible that somebody would fabricate or produce with imagination. Simple as this. This overseas abductions, right? How is it possible that that appealed to my parents? How would that be possible? And how have I tolerated it all, and so on? Yeah, well, for myself, you already know I didn't have a place to go to where I would complain. Because if I would be diagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic. That was pretty much it. And since that was the case, I have preferred job, whatever kind of job, even if it was on-job torture that went as far as not allowing me to use even the restroom. Just to remind you, when I ended up developing cancer on one of my testicles, this is how severe the torture on job was. Whenever that I was allowed to have that job on torture at all, because it was all progressively, systematically weighing toward prolonged unemployments that, as I already have stated, have ended with now what is even 9-year unemployment, forced unemployment. My parents have, to me, before I go to my parents, they have suggested me how I'm going to make a lot of money by complaining about what have taken place. They have even taught me how to complain, how to suggest me to go to complain, and so on. As far as my parents did not see me. I didn't have the ability to go and visit them because of the jobs, because of instability on jobs. For entire, or I should say before I came on my own to Slovenia, for entire 11 years and a half. So it definitely appealed to them. They could see me some way, somehow, and were willing to do whatever it takes to see me. Basically, that was pretty much it. Second, they have suggested my parents that I don't have the job, that I'm unstable, that I don't know how to hold the job, that I am, I don't know, lazy, and so on and so on, whatever they wanted to tell my parents, and have suggested that this is the best route for me, because I would get what would be early retirement. Also, they have suggested me early retirement. Why wouldn't you want to retire early as possible? Wouldn't you want that? And to parents, wouldn't you want to keep your Sebastian, Bastian next to you forever, instead of him going somewhere in the world and stay there? More than enough reasons to keep my parents silent and agree with all this brutality against me. On one side, torturing individual with extreme on job torture, MK Ultras, engaging against one in swiftest of the swift genocides, and on the other side suggesting him and to his family how they are all gonna benefit from within. This is the criminally insane people we are talking about. They're nothing else than a regular leech bloodsuckers who are demanding death proof, as I was told.
Former Secretary of State and potential presidential candidate Hillary Clinton speaking at a foreign policy conference and saying this.
This is what we call smart power, using every possible tool and partner to advance peace and security, leaving no one on the sidelines, showing respect even for one's enemies, trying to understand and, insofar as psychologically possible, empathize with their perspective and point of view, helping to define the problems, determine the solutions. That is what we believe in the 21st century will change the prospects for peace. Showing respect even for one's enemies, showing respect even for one's enemies, showing respect even for one's enemies,